happiness is definitely loving kindness in a Buddhist sense. Philosophically, I'm not a religious person, but I've got lots of friends who live up in the hills, and that's what they practice, and they're happy people.
What is happiness? This might be the most convoluted question we've asked so far. I mean, the idea is simple. It's an emotional state, but one that can range anywhere from contentment to intense joy. Often we actually confuse how to articulate our happiness. Are we merry, jolly, gleeful? Are we just feeling perfect ecstasy? Either way, we are happy. But when I propose this question to you, something will come to mind before anything else. It could be your favorite teddy bear or a beautiful sunset. It could be your family or health. Happiness truly isn't one specific moment. And that's why for today's bigger question, we want to know, for you, what is happiness?
Happiness is very elusive. People think they know what happiness is, and I think the older I get, the closer I get to understanding it. And it might be the closest, even though I'm not religious, the closest to the Buddhist philosophy of letting go of things. Things as in ideas too, like expectations. It's a really hard thing to do because we're human, but happiness in essence for me is being in the moment. And obviously, you know, we have practicalities in life that sometimes bring us stress, but when we have the opportunity not to actually live for the future, but to live for now and to appreciate, to be grateful. I think maybe gratefulness and living in the moment, those two things together, that's what happiness is to me.
To be able to let go, that truly does seem blissful. But there's a lot of work we would have to do to accomplish that. For many, their definition of happiness has to come from something everyone can achieve right now.
It's peace of mind, being on good terms with family, neighbors, friends, and the planet. That's about as simple as it gets.
It comes from inside for sure. I guess it's knowing that you never did someone wrong, and if you did, you made it right. That's okay, then you could live with yourself. It's pretty hard when you got some loose ends, because they always come back. You got to tell the truth too. The hardest thing in the world, because you know it hurts sometimes, but you got to tell it.
Happiness is just to be relaxed with yourself and not be so materialistically motivated, because you'll never reach what you're looking for, because that's not what makes us happy, you know. It's just being happy with yourself, the little things in life, listening to nature. It's not complicated.
You might start to realize a theme already. Earlier we spoke about the many feelings that can be defined as happiness. On the lower scale, it was the least complicated version, being content. And that was the most common answer we found.
Happiness, I'd say, is contentment with where you're at, and staying present in the moment. I think that's happiness, because when you're constantly thriving to reach other things or looking back into the past, it's hard to live in the moment. And if you're not living in the moment, then you can't actually be satisfied with what you're ever doing. So if you're never satisfied with what you're doing, you're always striving for something else, and you'll never actually attain happiness. So I think the key to being happy is staying present with what you're doing in that moment.
Freedom, I guess. Contentment, not feeling like you have to be anything for anyone else, and just being comfortable in your skin and doing what makes you fulfilled. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I think happiness is.
I think happiness is contentedness, is being happy with what you have and not desiring too many other things. So if you're always wanting other things, you find yourself being unhappy. When you have what you want, when you don't have too many desires, that's when you can be content with who you are and what you have.
I think happiness for me is realizing that I am quite content and I am not in need of stuff. And I guess not needing big highs, like not big, happy, craziness and no, like being alone, you know?
Yeah, I guess just being around people that you love and care about you, and, you know, waking up and feeling excited for the day and getting to experience joy and seeing the loved ones you experience joy. That's a big part of my day too, being a young mom, seeing them grow and do new things. And yeah, I think just being content, not having, you know, any intense hardships or difficulties or anything like that.
The last lady in particular spoke about relationships and her environment. And with keeping those healthy, she finds her happiness. And maintaining that was the most important thing to these next two.
Happiness is healthy relationships, and the reason why is your relationships are your refuge from all the troubles in the world. They're your safe space, and really whatever it is that we do in life is to strengthen our relationships, increase the love, and pass it on.
Well, happiness, definition of the happiness is not a quite simple. So what I call what's the happiness is what you enjoy doing is the happiness, right? So you have to find a job and you have to find a work and you have to enjoy your life with your family and with your friends, and I think that's the happiness end of the day.
Most of our answers today define happiness as something everyone can achieve. Maybe particular to their perspective, but not a lot of moments. So I thought it was important to show this next gentleman who appreciated his everyday adventures.
Well, happiness to me is hanging out with my friends, having good times, not caring about all the shit that's happening in the world. I don't know if I can say that. Like even coming out here to Bayfront, skating, just not giving a care for a few moments of the day. I think that's what's happiness to me.
He just enjoyed being himself. That is a form of happiness we all try to achieve. And these next few, although they don't share specific moments, you can tell for them, being yourself is what defines happiness.
Happiness is looking at your situation and seeing the positives and seeing how lucky you are. There's always going to be things that are not good, that could be a lot better, and you can always have more or whatever, but it's looking and seeing those positive things and those things that make you happy.
Happiness, I believe, is loving yourself. And reason why, the people I know that are angry and not happy usually don't have love in them. And simply love yourself and you can love everyone else.
Happiness, the foundation of happiness is loving yourself. Putting yourself first above everybody else and accepting yourself for who you are. Not letting other people, their opinions or their judgment cloud your own judgment of yourself. That is what happiness is.
What is happiness? Well, the idea is simple. It's an emotional state. Maybe it really is just being content. Or maybe you are content because you can experience joy and bliss. Even after listening to all these incredible answers, it still is the most convoluted question we have done yet. But achieving happiness, in whatever form that looks like to you, we all want it and try to obtain and maintain it. But maybe there is a reason there are so many words that define different states of happiness, because there are so many different methods to achieving true happiness. And every answer we receive today is just one of those ways. But that's just my perspective. Let me know what happiness is to you. For now, I'm going to leave you with one more answer. A simple one that I think we can all get behind.
Happiness to me is waking up next to my beautiful wife and spending the morning with her.